Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Today's story takes us aboard a train where a kind-hearted manager tries to cut some slack for a couple of passengers with invalid tickets, but when gratitude turns into entitlement and insults start flying, the manager decides it's time to teach them a lesson they won't forget, while staying within the rules, of course. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Passenger insults train manager, learns the hard way about following rules. As a train manager for a railway business, we have a little gray zone where we can bend the laws as much as we like while checking tickets, mainly to minimize aggression and to ensure we can live with ourselves afterwards. Both of the men had a reduced ticket while they were being checked, but only one of them had a legitimate card that allowed the reduction. In this case, it was for low-income families who get 50% off public transportation. Those cards must be renewed annually and are entirely personal. The second guy's reduction card is clearly marked as being usable only with the card, so when I questioned where it was, he replied he left it at home. I should now immediately punish him because he obtained his ticket using a friend's card. However, as I'm not a very rigid person and have some sympathy for those with poor budgets, I choose to ignore the ticket that was mistakenly purchased and treat him as though he didn't have one. This allows me to offer him a ticket at a slightly higher price because they should have one before boarding. Since a fine would exceed 5 times the cost of a new ticket, the person who'd forgotten his ticket was now grateful, but after deciding he didn't want to follow the regulations, his pal began to urge that he would receive the fine and pay it later. When I attempted to step in to break up their argument, the second person insulted me. That's where I drew the line. I don't mind insults because I'm used to them by now. That doesn't mean I let others get away with it. I said quietly, "Sir, are you certain you want me to follow company guidelines here?" "Naturally," he replied in the affirmative. When I was finished, I went ahead and made the fine. "Sir, using your reduction card for someone else destroys your right to have it, and I'll have to take it away in accordance with corporate and government regulations. Now, this card can be used for more than just public transportation discounts. It may be used for any business that receives government funding." He started going utterly crazy at this point, and a colleague who'd heard that I had a challenging client had already come to help. I informed him that if he didn't calm down and allow me to do my job, I would have to call railway security on him in accordance with company policy. After about 40 minutes of scrutinizing the other passengers, 2 guys approached me at the last station, and the second of them apologized for his actions, which I must admit took me totally by surprise. I went back to being helpful, sold them the standard, slightly more expensive ticket, annulled the fine, which we can do within an hour of making it, and returned his card. In any case, I really didn't feel like filling out the papers. Ultimately, my actions caused him to reconsider his behavior and ideally improved him as a person. OP, you handled this situation with patience and a masterclass in controlled authority. Your calm but decisive response, "Are you sure you want me to follow the rules?" was the perfect move. And watching him unravel must have been satisfying. Losing that government card probably felt like a wake-up call he didn't expect. Would you guys have handled it as diplomatically, or would you have let the fine stick to teach a harsher lesson? And our second story. I'm 600 miles from that store, sir. This is an old tale I have from when I was working tech support for a company that owns a lot of large grocery store chains across the U.S. Now, to be clear, I was internal tech support for this company. The only calls I should be getting are from people that work for the company and all the chains it owns to fix their computers. Me equals me, confused man equals CM. Ring, ring, me. Hiya, company name, hit desktop support. This is OP. Can I get your employee ID? CM, already angry. Where are the diabetic brownies? Me. I'm sorry, the what? CM, I'm at store location and nobody in here knows where the hell the diabetic brownies. Me. I wasn't aware brownies could be diabetic. I'm sorry, sir. There must have been some mix-up. I'm tech support for company. Somebody must have given you the wrong number. CM. No, I'm not getting any more runaround. Where are The diabetic brownies. Me. Sir, I'm in a call center 600 miles from your store's location. I don't have a layout of the store in front of me, and I don't work for smaller grocery store chain. I work for parent company. I can help you if you have a computer that needs fixing. CM. Brownies. Me. Okay, well, let me try to help. What's the store's address, and who gave you this phone number? CM. The GD pharmacist. Me. Okay, please be patient. I'm going to put you on hold for like 2 minutes. I put him on hold and call customer service for the store he's at, explain the situation, tell them to look for an angry old man who just walked away from the pharmacist. Me. All right, sir, I called customer service. Someone at your store is going to come find you and show you the diabetic brownies? CM. Thank you. Click. I then proceeded to call the pharmacy and chew out the pharmacist for giving out an internal number to some confused customer. Never found out if he got his brownies. This story's equal parts absurd and hilarious. First of all, diabetic brownies? The concept alone is worth a chuckle, but the fact that the guy escalated his search to tech support? That's next level misplaced frustration. Props to you, OP, for keeping your cool and even going the extra mile to call the store's customer service for him. Honestly, how does a pharmacist look at a guy asking for baked goods and think, let me connect you to internal tech support? Also, can we acknowledge the pharmacist passing the buck here? I imagine them chuckling after handing out the number, thinking, not my problem anymore. Hey guys, would you have gone as far as OP to help this dude? Or just hung up after explaining it wasn't your department? And our last story. Entitled aunt tries to claim grandmother's house and ends up homeless instead. My mom's brother married the ultimate Karen. The woman's a walking entitlement parade with a permanent scowl and a voice that could shatter glass. She also raised 2 equally entitled daughters who share her flair for drama and bullying. But this story focuses on the queen herself, Karen, and her epic attempt to claim my grandmother's home as her own. Grandmother's the sweetest, kindest woman you'd ever meet. She's a classic Southern lady, all smiles and warm hugs. But make no mistake, there's steel beneath her genteel exterior. Karen, on the other hand, has always been a thorn in grandmother's side. The two have clashed countless times, mostly because Karen thinks she can bulldoze anyone into doing what she wants. One particularly salty example: a few years back, Karen tried to guilt-trip grandmother into giving her a ring that grandmother had since she was a young woman. This ring was promised to my mom, but Karen threw a fit, claiming she deserved it more. When grandmother politely refused, Karen didn't speak to her for 6 months, until she needed something else, of course. Fast forward to recently, my aging grandfather had to be placed in a veteran's nursing home due to his declining health and a heartbreaking dementia diagnosis. This left grandmother living alone in their beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. While the house is stunning, it's far too large for her to maintain on her own, so she made the difficult decision to sell and downsize. Enter Karen. The moment Karen caught wind of grandmother's plans, she swooped in like a vulture circling roadkill. She called grandmother, not to offer help, but to demand the house, and not just for free. Oh no, Karen and my uncle insisted they would graciously buy it for 1/4 of its actual value. Grandmother politely declined. She wasn't about to let her cherished home fall into Karen's hands, knowing full well she'd turn it into a disaster. That's when Karen's campaign of harassment began. She bombarded grandmother with texts and phone calls accusing her of being selfish, heartless, and uncaring. She even threw in some guilt trips about their supposed financial struggles, which, as we later learned, were completely fabricated. When grandmother had enough, she called my mom for backup. Mom immediately stepped in to shield her and told my uncle to get his wife under control. But Uncle is a spineless enabler who lets Karen do whatever she wants, so he just mumbled something about not being able to handle her and hung up. Despite Karen's tantrums, Mom and grandmother forged ahead with the sale. Within a day of listing the house, they found a lovely young family who fell in love with it. Paperwork was underway and everything was running smoothly until Karen pulled her most insane stunt yet. One evening, Karen called grandmother, practically screeching with delight. We're on our way. We sold our house and packed everything. We'll be there tomorrow to move in. Move in? To what house? Grandmother was floored. She hadn't agreed to anything of the sort. When Mom called Uncle to confirm, he sheepishly admitted it was true. Karen had told him grandmother had gifted them the house. They'd sold their home, packed up their entire life into a U-Haul, and driven across 3 states expecting to walk right in and claim the place. Mom immediately set the record straight. The house is already under contract. It's being sold to another family. Karen made this up. When Karen got on the phone, she exploded. "You're lying! You promised us the house. How could you betray family like this?" She went on a tirade, calling grandmother selfish and evil, insisting that the house belonged to them. Grandmother, God bless her, had enough. "Listen here, Karen," she snapped, her southern drawl dripping with venom. "It's my damn house, and I'll decide who gets it. You and your entitled nonsense can take a hike. You're not getting a single brick of this place." It was one of the rare times grandmother swore, and it was glorious. The house went to the lovely young family who adored it and promised to cherish it as much as grandmother had. Meanwhile, Karen and Uncle were stuck in a hotel for nearly a month. Their U-Haul parked out front while they scrambled to find another home. When they finally found a small, overpriced house back in their original state, they slinked back with their tails between their legs, furious at us for breaking our word, a word we never gave. Karen's parting shot, a passive-aggressive post on Facebook about how family doesn't support family anymore and how they'd been betrayed. Grandmother didn't even dignify it with a response. To this day, Uncle and Karen are still salty about losing out on the house. Meanwhile, grandmother loves her cozy new place surrounded by kind neighbors and doesn't miss a single thing about the drama Karen brought to her doorstep. All right, let's talk about this absolute gem of entitlement. Karen sold her house and packed up her life based on what exactly? A wish? A prayer? The sheer audacity of it all is breathtaking. How do you even get to the point of, yeah, I'm just going to claim a house as mine because I feel like I deserve it? OP, hats off to your grandmother for handling this nonsense like a pro. That line, "It's my damn house and I'll decide who gets it," deserves a standing ovation. Honestly, I hope Karen and her husband enjoyed their month in hotel purgatory. Actions meet consequences. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.